There we go. So everyone is cheating as always. That's true love. This is the sort of one shot of a Vampire Masquerade the second edition. And it's a little bit of horseshoeing it so we can kind of fit it into Foundry. It's natively for the 5E version or the 5th edition, and then the V20 edition, but not really the second edition, but it's kind of close to the 20th anniversary edition. So that's why we're running it with that in the background. So the two of you have done the characters, and you're fairly sure where the characters will go and where everything kind of goes. And we will have a sort of startup, a small little text that'll go by. And we were previously talking about where will we go with it all, and because we didn't get anywhere, or there weren't any massively improvements or advances with exactly where, it's going to be more a fictive place. So a little bit of everything goes, I guess. It'll have water, harbor, forest sort of close by, skyscrapes, slum, stuff like that. So anything that would be sort of a half mix greater city, present day, would be the one to go for. So as we start it up, a little text, if you will. At first, the dark streets appear empty, desolate and eerie in their strange abandonment. Buildings lie vacant, home to rumble, rats and nothing more. But a keen eye discerns movement in the gloom. Shadows begin to dart and dash among the neon poles, chasing each other in futile games. Drawn by a chill wind from the lakes, dense fog begins to roll into the roads, collecting in ominous packs beyond the shadows. The creeping cold begins in the base of the spine, slowly spreading through the rest of the body. A coat, pulled tight above the neck, adds little but some warmth. Distant noises draw closer. Things only half heard take on new life. Sounds not sensed before become real. The damp wind reaches feverish strength, menacing everything in its path. Paper, sweepings, and other refuse sail from every direction, striking sharply at the gutter before skittering off again. Shapes spins by, seen only through the corner of the eye. Hands reach for an anchor, but find nothing more than intangible air. Feet once firmly planted tear free of the earth to join with the awful already launch. Hands frenetically claw for stability, finding nothing and grasping at dreams. As manic winds shred clothes, the scream of the lost cry out from beyond. In a maelstrom of madness, who dares embrace sanity? And with that, we also start in a much secluded warehouse, changed into a nightclub. Few people have access. There is no lines. No one really knows about it. From the outside, a abandoned warehouse. Some cars are parked outside, but no one sticks out with like luxury or special supercars. Simple ones. Those that knows and park their cars that has a little bit more money, a underground parking is known as well. The two of you are in this large facility, several rooms and bars. Um, you have been asked to get here by either the elders, the clan leaders, or from them passing on from like retainers or close by associates. The invitation didn't really share much more than be here and wait for further instructions. Or and the two of you are maybe not together, maybe separated, as you might not even know each other that much. The atmosphere is lively. Music is fairly loud and just in the background. There is a mix between the kindred, the word for vampire shared amongst you, the kindred, and mortals as vessels openly being fed in secluded little areas. And when going through here, it's up to you if you've been here before. This place have been active amongst the elite or the group that you belong to for quite a while, and used as like a place of sharing political things and affairs easily. No one is listening in, no one is prying. But this is only for the kindred of this city. A very selective few still remains, meaning that all in all, we are talking about a 30, 40 at the very most kindreds in this largely populated million city. And everyone knows each other slightly or a lot, depending on. Have you guys can start with Redix? Have you thought about desire a little bit or no?
Yes. Leaving it as a unknown, but last rumors are residing back in the UK, where he was also embraced.
And your name, is it known to other people?
Yeah, I would say so. He's not a big name, but his name is known. Yeah.
So how would Frank look if anyone in this night scene would see him, or where as well, or rather as well, where would he be at like a bar scene at a secluded area, reading, drinking, or what would it be? What would we find him, see him?
Frank Hawley is, for a human, average size, build, like shaggy, shoulder long, black hair, pasty, almost pale complexion, maybe a little gaunt, and looks a little scruffy. Um, Long, sort of worn coat of some kind, simple jeans, and a pair of boots. He's sitting in a corner table with his back against the wall, nursing something in a glass.
What kind of clothes or so would he have? Style?
Uh, Again, he long worn black coats, jeans, and boots.
Observing or more to himself?
It's gonna be a 50-50. I don't think he's like looking at the entrance, but if someone new passes by on their way deeper in, he goes like, "Who's that? They're this kind of person. Then maybe they're here doing this. A little quick scan." Then he goes back to just nothing.
And the same question for you, Vamp. Who is Evelyn? And where would one find Evelyn?
She would definitely currently, hopefully, be getting something to snack on. She's pretty young, about 5'4", gray shoulder hair, blue eyes, pale skin. She's rather beautiful. And you can see that she kind of like gets like lost in thought really easily, or entranced by stuff. Like if she hears any music, she has a tendency to just like kind of lose herself for a second before focusing back in the now. But yeah, she's gonna head for a snack as soon as she can.
The two of you in fair proximity to each other sense that this night is different. Most of the time, people tend to be fairly just there, enjoying whatever it is, or sharing one piece of information or whatever that might be, and that's about it. This time, people are more tensed up, looking around more, and the amount of elders being the clan leaders are interesting. There are few clan leaders present normally, but this time you actually see more than just one or two. And as you are looking by, just making a small observation, the only ones that are not represented is the Malkavians and the Nosferatu. There have been talks about a present or a need for a Malkavian and a leader of the Nosferatu should be in place. But nothing have happened since you have been here or heard about a change. But there are other of the kindred. For Frank, you know of a Irene Dale, a Melkavian. And she is a person that seldom moves and show her face. She is very secluded, and she lives somewhere in the harbor area. Depending on how much you want to have been like investigating or searching for her, that's what you know for now. Is there anything that you want to kind of have been going after?
Maybe his haven is an abandoned lighthouse that sits at the end of a pier, and he drove here himself, and the bottom floor of the lighthouse has just been it's just been gutted and turned into a garage, and he lives upstairs. So maybe it is the same sort of a seaside location.
Most
Maybe
probably.
not.
Yeah, most probably. She have been seen at one of the fisher boats. You could probably pinpoint which one, but she has a fisher boat, and at times the boat is just gone out, and at times it's there, so it's her place to move. There are some Nosferatus that lives throughout the lower ends of the city, but no one really have been in contact with them. The one that runs it all is a Ventru that is Juliana. And she is a fairly old vampire, and she has been taking the city fairly close down and built everything step by step. She is very close to the Toreador, Duncan. And the Toreador is a very outspoken, flamboyant painter. So if that is someone who has sired Evelyn, it's up to you. Otherwise, it's been someone that you've thought of. But Duncan Emmett has also arrived at the scene. And he looks fairly stressed. He has slick black hair that is pulled back, almost as if he has this sort of Italian heritage background, and darting eyes that now kind of goes everywhere. He seems to just wait either for the others or people in general. And you can, for this, add 6 points of blood point to yourselves throughout any sort of feeding that you have done on this party.
Well, I mean, I guess my tank is full.
Yeah, then it just stops whenever it is full or close. And fairly by the time that Duncan arrives, the flamboyant painter, A couple of guards comes in, and you see that people are ushered to start leaving, or start to leave the place. There is no need for these people anymore. So the retainers and the mortals are pushed out. Left are only the kindred. There are about 10 or so of your neonates and lower or not a positioned. And from one of the many rooms, there is like several doors, comes the Ventru queen, Juliana. And with her, the leaders of the Brua and the Gangrel. From Brua, it's Thomas, and the Gangrel is Spencer. The Toreador leader, Duncan, gives off a small, like, sigh of relief for some reason, and comes to the group, and they start to talk a little bit amongst them, like their own sort of group. And left now is about 10 or so kindred, and some guards as well. Anything that you want to do or change as you are here?
Out of curiosity, is there any chance I'd be able to hear what exactly they're saying with my heightened senses?
Depending on if you want to use the discipline for it.
Sure. I want to find out what's going on.
So you basically can you click it? Is that applicable?
No, I don't think so.
Disciplines. Yeah, the chat bubble, send to chat.
Oh, okay. Shit.
Yeah, so you will have to just include the brief text.
Sorry, I'm trying to find it now.
Oh, no worries. In the text that we had. I'm trying to kind of track it down. The world and stuff like that. Okay, so it must be here. Here it is. Animalisms.
Don't mind me.
Heightened senses. On page 97.
Yep. Got it. Copying it now.
As I recall.
There we go.
Yeah, you need to maybe paragraph fix it. Um, I'm more wondering if there is something that you have to use. It doesn't sound like it, you outer senses.
Yeah, I think this is one of those like at will, like you can choose to like do a secret dice roll and stuff.
Yeah,
One of those like great things.
yeah. Storytelling game and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So you choose to heighten one of the senses, and you then go for hearing. So you will hear what they say.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. And the group is let's see. So I have it all here back again. There we go. Duncan is trying to not whisper, but be very quiet about it. He addresses Juliana with, "Do we have any knowledge of where Jocelyn is? This doesn't bode well." And Juliana, with a very calm voice, says that we need people to search. So therefore, we are here. And the voice of Duncan just, all right, this is your shit show. And he stops talking. And all of them are starting to kind of look around at the place here, like at everyone. And all people here, all the kindred are now understanding that they are addressing everything. So the kindred's kind of quiets down. So the question for you, Evelyn, have you been, or do you consider yourself as a very newly created vampire, or have you been around for a while in this social structure?
She is very new.
All right.
Yes, very new.
So in that case, you have heard of the name, but you can't really place who Jocelyn is. But she is a name you've heard of. And Juliana kind of start to look left to right, really eyeing everyone, and people stop talking and put down the drinks and kind of divert the attention to her. Behind her, the leaders from the Brua gangrel, the Toreador, is visual there. And as she's starting to talk, the guards have also kind of gone back to door duty. And Juliana is a imposing figure, fairly tall, and her demeanor speaks of like a very leadership and presence. She has been around for quite a while, and people have kind of gone back and forth to discern how long she has been around. And someone has said that she was around when the true Inquisition was a thing, meaning like in the 1600s, somewhere around there. And she starts to like walk very slowly, and the others stand behind her, and her attire is immaculate, very, very expensive, very, very traditional, long coat over like a fine piece suit. And she starts to kind of address as like everyone, saying that we have in front of us a problem. It started quite a while ago, where I, with the help of several other clan members, started to figure out a pattern. People started to go missing of our own kindred, our own kind. Now it's come to the attention that we need to act. This is not just a thing of people just disappearing. As of this very night, we have found traces, and these traces lead further away from our city and to the sewers, where we have spoken to Florin, the only Nosferatu who can actually be talked to. And he has informed us that as of late, the Tremere clan leader Jocelyn Fay have been dealing with strange beasts, the lupin kind. And as she kind of mentioned it, people are almost wanting to gossip how bad the connection with like the werewolf, the lupins are. The Tremeres have always been a strange clan. They have like rites and rituals, and they get almost as blinded like the Toreador with their own art, their own sort of dark art. And these ones have been very, very strong within the whole structure. But it's never been completely understandable or like known what their function have been. So for Frank, the same question: how much have you, how much knowledge would you have about the structure? Have you been around for long, or have you just started appearing here now?
He is about, I mean, in years, he is going to be about 120 maybe. He isn't from here. He is from, what would be the United Kingdom, but now we are where we are. But I think he got here when he was just after it happened. So he was maybe 26 by the time he got here, and he's been a while here now. So maybe he knows a little bit.
But yeah, then the sort of strain the Tremere have always been for the clan structure here. They have never really followed any sort of direction and semi wanted to fit in. And for whatever reason, they've never really accepted the whole Ventrue as leaders. Not that they have made any sort of progress um, to say otherwise what kind of leaders they would like to see. And Juliana stops and she kind of stands alone in it all and says that it's with a troubled mind and it's heavy to say it. But we have decided to put a blood hunt for Jocelyn Fay. And people are now like being very talkative, like very low key talking. And Juliana standing there, the one who, or those that will be able to bring anything of her will be greatly rewarded. And she just turns and starts to walk out to whatever chamber or room that lies beyond. And the Toreador starts to walk to a group, like two others, that is also Toreador. And same with like the Brew and the Gangrel, they kind of find their groups. Frank is like the odd man out. Where do you want to go to, Frank? Any of the groups, or do you want to just observe?
No, I don't think he's going to engage. He's not really interested in all this scheming, all this backstabbing, the politics and the lies and the stealing and the ham.
For Evelyn, do you meet up the group, or do you don't really care for the group?
Yeah, I'm curious exactly what's going on, so I'll definitely meet up with the rest of the group, see if I can learn anything else from them.
And they start to talk, and one other is at the same sort of, or no, the others are at the same age as you, like neonate, which is within a couple of years been sired. And he says that not all of you know, but a blood hunt is an order given by the official calling for the destruction of another kindred. It's a very disturbing time. For many reasons. It's often been put to other kindred when it's kinslaying, trying to do the diablere. And one other very young one kind of wonders that diablere, and he mentions that if you would go against another elder and do an act of drinking the elder's blood, it would be considered a very treasonous act. Most people call it amaranth from the flower, presented to a old vampire at the time before his demise. But this blood hunt is something we just have to do and hopefully move past. As any kindred who hears the order of the blood hunt is expected to participate. You're not required, but it's seen as a truly serious violation, an offense if you don't. Not all of you have seen, been with, or close to see the premiere. We have only had a couple of them where Jocelyn Fay have been the most prominent leader, young one. She has been talking about a discovery, a strong, potent discovery. I talked to her not long ago about what it could be, what she has been up with. And she talked about something from the ancient times. And then she went quiet for quite a while. I think that Juliana started to investigate this accusation of the Lupin. It doesn't sit well with me. And one of the other clan groups, the Bruas, they kind of start to share, for whatever reason, the anarchists, after all, like from nowhere, they give off like a great just outburst of a shout, a raising small shot glasses and throw the content like over their shoulder. They seem to be ready to leave. Where Duncan, the Toreador clan leader, he just rolls his eyes and almost under the breath, like call it a just savage barbarians of kindreds. And he looks at the group where Evelyn is part of it. He says that gather anything that you can find and start to reach out to any contacts or anyone that might have seen Jocelyn. She is known as a person who deals in art. I'm myself hoping that this is just, I don't know, but her name has a purpose somewhere. So reach out and, if anything, contact me back. And he like starts to look around, and you see these 6 individuals of the Brujas. One of them like having just all jeans clothings, like a jeans vest and very tight fitted jeans and lots of chains. He does like a prank sort of scare towards one of the gangrel groups where Spencer, the clan leader, just stands up, and he seldom kind of impose anything, but when he does, he kind of almost gets enlarged, like he gets bigger and bigger. You can almost see like the beast go through the body. And even for the Bruja, they are like very brutish and delinquent. They take a couple of steps back and they're almost saying sorry but not sorry, sort of thing, and they just leave the whole establishment. And people do start to leave. The gangrels are also starting to like fix stuff up. There is a couple of Ventrus that haven't been with Juliana. They sit by the bar and just drink. Really nice suits and like prominent leader in their own sort of corporation and political scene. They're just sitting there and almost as a American Psycho comparing business cards, you know. The others from the Toreador group look over to you, Evelyn, and we will try to find places to go as well. You have a good place to go to, and they just want to reassure that Evelyn has somewhere to go.
Yes, I'm fine. No need to worry.
And one of them, a man called Bruce, he is a sculptor, a very good at his craft, but as of late he has just not found his way. Nothing really speaks. He's a little bit dramatic and does the whole sort of drama queen thing. He just takes his long coat as it's kind of fall after summer fall. So it's fairly cold outside. And you don't really feel the cold or warmth like as a human would, but a lot of the kindred do tend to fall into this sort of habit. And for the masquerade, you need to kind of follow the human mortal scene in order to be accepted as well and not be questioned. So he takes his long coat and just starts to button it up. And he says that I believe that she will probably just turn up and this will just be over with. And the other Toreador just mention it like very lightly that a bloodhound is a bloodhound, not to take lightly. If we see, we are supposed to take her down or in. No questions. This is serious. And Bruce is like, yeah, whatever. And takes his bag and both of them starts to trot out. Anything that you want to do, Frank? You see that several people start to leave.
Maybe just note that there hasn't been a blood hunt in a little while. Might be worth at least keeping tabs on.
And a blood hunt on an elder or like clan leader is very rare. For Evelyn, you see that the only one that is like a little bit off is the Frank character. Everyone else is with a group, and he has been observing and kind of been around for a while. Everyone else is part of a clan. Where do you want to go from here? You want to go back home or want to go something in here?
Is Duncan still here, or I can't remember if you said that he had left the group, right? And
yeah, he is going back to like the boardroom for the clan leaders, like the elders.
I would try and catch up with him really quick, and I just want to see if he has any idea of like areas that she's been seen. I mean, I know that he said that she enjoyed art, but is there any actual locations that they know of that she frequented?
And as he kind of stops listening, he looks around and he opens like the inner pocket, gives you a small card. This is her studio apartment, 10 minutes from here. You can always look there. I believe that Juliana might have raided it already, but it's maybe worth a check.
Thank you. She'll take the card, give it a quick glance, and then slide it in her bag.
He has written it in like a bullpen ink. And he's done it already. So it was like his own business card, but written.
I'll put that away. And I guess from that, I'll just kind of look around the area. Does it seem like any other of the groups are talking about this? I mean, I know you said that the one group just seems to be exchanging business cards and things like that, but I mean, is any of the other groups like actually talking about her, or are they just?
You don't know really, yeah. But with your heightened sense, still with like hearing, you hear that the gangrels, they are sort of talking, and they seem to be a very tightly knit group. They are going back to their home, and they will start a hunt through the woods, which is, let's say, it's west of here, and south is the harbor, and north is like the main city. So we have the east still there for something. The slum.
All right.
But the Brua, the other group, they have left. That's the the very outspoken rebels. The Ventru group are the more business corporate guys. And left is, Frank is here, but he's not really talking to anyone. That's the landscape.
I guess I will walk over to Frank's table and do you mind if I sit down and join you? And she like takes a seat before he even answers.
E something Evelyn, I think.
And your name, I don't think I caught it.
Well, that's good.
Very helpful. So what do you think of all of this?
A nice change of pace, I suppose. It's gotten a little stale.
So you'll be joining the hunt then?
Maybe I will.
I don't suppose you would have any information on Jocelyn you'd be willing to share? I mean, obviously you've been here a little longer than me.
No, can't say I have any inside scoop. Though I believe she has a fondness for the arts, and there is only one other person that I know that has a similar taste. But well, that would be disastrous if it turned out that there was a link between these two people.
If what you're suggesting is what I believe, so there's no way that could. I mean, she is kind of flustered. I highly doubt it.
Oh, please tell me, what exactly is it that I'm suggesting?
Sorry, 1 second. My dog's having some issues. Sorry about that. My dog was choking on his chew stick. Well, it would just be silly to outright say it. I mean, here, and like her eyes kind of like flicker around the room. I mean, it should be pretty obvious from what you are inferring. But still, outwardly say it. I mean,
A little honesty and maybe a little bluntness. It's always helps clean the air. Like eating a breath mints.
I don't think the air needs to be cleaning. It seems pretty clean already. And she just looks nervous again. Do you know what kind of art she liked? I mean, I know Mr. Duncan prefers a certain type, but I haven't heard anything about what she preferred. Painting, sculpture.
Well, I mean, I guess we can ask the person who might know.
um, Looking around, Duncan has already left the area, right?
Yeah, he is in the conference room with the other elders.
I don't know about you, but I'm not exactly eager to interrupt that meeting. Although, if you feel like it, please do go ahead.
Oh, I don't think so. I think it's one of those private functions, you know, invite only. You can have the VIP pass. You get to be somebody. Have you ever seen what happens when someone opens that door and they're not supposed to?
No? What happens? And she just like stares at you with like these big, like puppy dog eyes, looking all innocent, eagerly waiting to hear what what happens.
It's a whole spectacle that I remember when I was at the circus when I was very young. There was this was an elephant who I guess maybe they've been whipping it and stabbing it with spears a little too much. He was fed up with stuff and he wanted to take a little bit of revenge. And it grabbed this gentleman in his coat with his cane and his hat, and it just sort of swung him around a little bit. There was a bit of splash going on the walls, like a painter stroking with a brush. And there were some people were screaming. I don't know. Maybe they didn't like getting viscera painted on their fancy clothes. That was the last time. Before that, I mean, it's just a show every time. But sometimes people just don't remember these things. That there is an etiquette you have to follow when the door is closed, and if you don't, I mean, everyone gets no chances.
Is there still the businessmen over at the bar area? Are they still the only group left in here with us?
No, the gangrels they left too.
How many of them are over there?
4.
Do they look like they're getting ready to leave?
Yeah, they have exchanged, shown their business cards, and now they're feeling like one of them won.
Looking at Frank, do you know who the youngest is of those gentlemen over there? I mean, it's obvious you're pretty familiar with the area. Well, at least more familiar than I am.
I'm not really a people person.
Would I have any idea who the youngest one of the group is?
You could, to make it a part of this whole thing, you could roll a intelligence. You don't really have many of the other skills that would be good. So roll. Yeah, roll intelligence and academics. Why not?
Do I get a bonus or anything like that?
No.
Okay. Do I change the difficulty any, or does it just stay as 6?
No, let it stay at a 6.
Okay. There's intelligence, and then what was the other one?
When you the academics, you just click the academics, and it will ask which
Okay.
attribute.
Oh, oops.
You're just throwing all the dices around. But we could
I'm
kind
sorry.
of yeah.
Wait.
So I think if you click academics, it asks you in the top what you would like to associate with it.
Oh, okay. Okay, I get it now. So I would click intelligence from that. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No worries.
What? That's even more dice.
Yeah. So the youngest of them would be Grant Benson.
And what exactly is he doing? Is he still like right in the middle of the group, or is he like bringing up the rear and the rest of the group has already left, or?
He is probably in the back, as it's not like the older or the older group, older of the group. So he is probably going in the back of the mall, in the rear. Anything you want to
Trying to
do?
think of if I want to piss that group off or not. No, I guess I'll just let them go.
Yeah, they leave and they have this sort of posh life. There is a elevator that goes down to like a a garage underneath. And there's where they have their nicer cars. So they get into the elevator.
All right. Yeah, I won't hold him up. I'm not gonna start trouble from the first part. I'll wait to start the chaos.
Any of you have a vehicle? Or is it walking and
Definitely.
metro? Is it so that the vehicle is not even worthy having in the garage, like you have it on the street somewhere?
No, at home it is parked inside.
But you walked here.
No.
Yeah. So it's parked on the street here or in the garage?
I don't think I have access to the garage.
Yeah. For Evelyn, do you have a vehicle?
Since she kind of lives near the heart of the city, she usually doesn't have a vehicle, so she just took the metro to get here and walked.
Or like a cab, maybe?
Yeah, or a cab. Probably a cab. Or an Uber.
Yeah.
On that note, I guess she would actually get her phone out and start ordering an Uber to make sure that they can come by and pick her up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And for Frank, your intent is to leave now, or do you want to stay here?
I think he's going to leave.
Do you guys want to leave together, or you want to go separate ways with Uber and your car?
I would probably offer. I think I am going, at least planning on going near where Duncan has his little place.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe just see what he does. When he's done with whatever he's doing here with all these little friends. So I would probably offer a ride, but
Yeah, I would love a ride actually. And she takes out the little business card that Duncan had given her. Since you're also joining the hunt for her, Duncan gave this to me. It might be of a little help. And she hands over the card to him that he's wrote the address down on. What time is it, by the way?
Like 8 p.m.
Oh, so it's still pretty early.
It's
Okay.
really early. Mm-hmm.
Maybe we could swing by there?
well, that was my intention. Maybe see what he does to you when he gets home.
So both of you can roll a a perception check, which is like perception and alertness together. So click on alertness and then choose perception as well. This time it's going to be 8 in difficulty.
Oof.
So as you are about to leave, Frank is the one that starts to kind of look around. And for you, Evelyn, you have your heightened senses still, and it's like giving you a hard time to kind of
Focus.
yeah, in a way. And you have slowly taking it to like a normal, just faded it out. And Frank, you notice that there are no more guards here. You are all alone. The entrance door is also just ajar, slightly opened. It's a eerie quietness in the whole warehouse, open space bar scene. And you're kind of startled a little as Evelyn is kind of talking in the background, and you kind of snap out of this sort of very controlled information gathering of the perceptive thing that you did. What will Frank do?
So, how many people have not left yet?
The Ventrus had just left, and you see that the elevator is still kind of going a level and a level, and they're still in the elevator. There were a couple of guards by the door last time you checked, but the gangrels left slightly thereafter the brew house. So you were kind of the last one here. First to leave was the Toreador group. But the guards, the like bouncers, the doormen, they were here at all times. They are here for the security of the elders. And you.
Have you noticed that there's no one here?
And Evelyn, you see it as well. It's eerily quiet, empty.
Hmm. There's well, I mean, there's nobody else here, so wouldn't they just be able to go home? I mean, wouldn't that just be normal?
Not really. See, the guards are here for well, for us. Anyone who is like us. So the guards wouldn't leave until everyone else has left.
We actually walked outside yet, or have we literally just noticed that there's no guards at the doors?
The later. You haven't left.
And
So
you said the elevator was still going down?
yeah, those were from the Ventru guys.
Yeah.
But still in the conference room or whatever it is the clan leaders.
I'm gonna go over to the elevator, and I'm assuming you don't need a key for this one.
No.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just hit the up button.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you see that
to get the elevator to come back up.
The elevator is starting to come back up. And do you guys wait for the elevator then?
Do I hear anything around us other than the elevator coming up?
Do you activate the heightened senses again then?
Sure.
Mm-hmm. There is nothing that gives off a sound. There's no more voices. You hear the elevator on its way up, and that's about it.
I don't hear the masters in the other room.
No. No one is talking.
Okay. Does it sound like the elevator is close to being back up here?
Yeah, it's getting back up for sure.
Okay. I guess could I do an aura perception and see if I see anybody like hiding from us, or if there's yeah, I guess if I could do an aura perception just to see if there's anybody here that we're just not seeing.
That's not it. You must see it though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you must. You can see the aura of other beings.
But I have to know that the being is there first.
Yeah, I think you have to look at it. Because there isn't an aura that is being invisible, is there? No.
I wasn't sure just because it said that where did it go? Dang it, where did it go?
The aura may shift between different colors in predictable cycles, or it might shift completely at random. The colors change along with the current emotional state of the character.
Okay, yeah, never mind then. Sorry, I misunderstood that. I'd just seen the transparent person thing and misunderstood that. So sorry about that. I guess I will cancel it.
Yeah, no worries. Does it state somewhere that there is a transparent person?
It just said even the
most shallow transparent person usually has.
Yeah, I
yeah.
didn't think it didn't connect in my head. Too fuzzy.
Yeah. The way we have done it is that you have to see someone at least. See something. Um, but yeah, the elevator is coming up. It's probably I don't know, 20 seconds or whatever. So either you wait for that or do something meanwhile.
Um, any ideas? Do we disturb them or?
I really wouldn't.
Okay. I okay. All right. Yeah. We'll just let's see if we can get one of the others to do it. I mean, I'm sure they would want to make a good impression. I think of all the business opportunities getting on their good side could open up. We'll just convince one of them.
So the elevator door clings and opens up. A fairly small one, suited for like at the maximum 6 people, maybe. There
And
is
oh, sorry.
there is just another button, basically up or down, and you are up.
Yes. Are the group of vampires who had left in it, are they still in it, or had they already gotten off?
Yeah.
Ah, shit. Okay. Well, should we go down the elevator? I have no idea if guards would be down there normally, but if they're not down there as well, then could be a sign that something is definitely up.
Like the irony, because we're going down. You know?
Nice.
You hear a different voice coming from the conference room. A voice you haven't heard before, a man's voice, almost with a sort of taunting and disrespectful. And you're not sure if it's been there and you haven't been able to pick it up. But this is the first time you hear it. And it says that, I suppose I'm rather a representative of them. Prince of the Anarchs. I sit on the council, often voicing their concerns or arguing with the other elders like you to protect their safety. The Anarchs just seem so alive to me. They have energy and strength. We, the older generation, have grown soft and fat in our ancient wisdom. And anything that you say or do when you hear him talk?
I grab Frank's arm, hold my hand up in front of my mouth as a sign to be quiet, and I just like focus everything I can on hearing exactly what's going on in that room.
Mm-hmm. And he continues it. I sometimes get very tired of calm, rational conversation. And I pray something of the highest insanity will happen. But with the elders, it never does. We just sit around and glower at one another. What imbeciles we are. I mean, you could more or less side it back to Frank if you want to. Or do you do something else?
Um, I sorry, the dog won't stop howling. I like kind of tilt my head a little bit to see if it will like improve my hearing any to see if I can hear any of the other people within the room, or if it's still just this one gentleman.
It's just him. You can't hear the others.
Okay. Yeah, then I look at Frank and I don't say it out loud because I don't want to chance this person also having heightened senses. But I just like mouth to him, someone's here. And like point to the room.
And with that, anything that you do, Frank?
Oh, good morning to you too. Of course, something's going on. There's anarchs.
She kind of like sends a glare his way for just a second before focusing again to see if she hears anything else from this guy.
Yeah, from back in the conference room, not in view, but you hear it through. He says that this is why I side with the anarchs. At least that's the reason I tell everybody. After centuries of battle, you learn to hide your true self. What I really hate is the unfairness of it all. When I was embraced, my sire killed my wife and my son. That was a long time ago. 1400s of years. Can't remember the exact date. And he kind of talks about the memory of it. But you hear his voice.
Sound at all familiar? Like,
No.
is this a voice I've heard before?
No. It's none of the elders that you know or have heard or talked to before.
And it still just sounds like it's a one-sided conversation, like still nothing for nobody else. I guess I'm gonna try and quietly make my way closer to the conference room. See if that helps me pick up anything that the other people might be saying, if they are saying anything at all.
And for Frank seeing this, how Evelyn is slowly moving towards the conference door.
I'm going to go behind the bar, and the wooden handles on the tap beer. Gonna snap that off. Just put that little improvised steak just in my back pocket, and I'm just gonna saunter towards the door.
Um, getting closer to Evelyn here, him kind of ending the story of his background a little bit. And he continues with, my own conversation was just another form of play. I can't let any more elders slay the young just because they are weaker. It has been done too many times. The old fear the young people's strength and vitality, and they covet it. Their victims need my help to protect their miserable little lives. Anything that Evelyn wants to do with it, or just continue listening in?
He's just going to continue listening in for now.
He continues with, like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get so serious. The fools will probably end up killing me before I get tired of helping them out of every mess they get into. I had to challenge Graces at one point to a personal duel just to make him back down. The other council members don't really respect me as much as I want them to, and my challenges are the only thing keeping me alive. Then again, none of them have ever had the courage to take me up on any of my challenges. Everybody tells me I should be more careful, but I do enjoy the look on the other elders' faces when I walk into a council meeting in just my bathrobe or a leather jacket. They take themselves so seriously. My life wouldn't be half as interesting if they had a sense of humor. One day they'll kill me for it, but until then I live like a prince.
Hearing the bit about the bathrobe, would that tip her off at all? Like, would she know of any gossip about an elder apparently showing up to meetings in bathrobes?
No.
Okay.
And he says that, why do they call me the prince? It's rather a long story, I'm afraid. You see, they used to call me the Black Prince of Cornwall. But that was a long time ago, and they called me that because I argued and fought with them. Now I'm called the Black Prince by the Anarchs, and they do it to annoy the other elders, as they often shorten Black Prince just Prince. They cause all sorts of confusion to the elders, and when they are trying to talk amongst them, the confusion just leads to annoyance, which is just what we want. There's nothing we enjoy more than pissing off the elders. And it's somewhere around there, like when he says that there's nothing we enjoy more than pissing off an elder or the elders. It's starting to be quiet again.
Hearing it go quiet, I'm going to scurry from the area that I was at and like wave at Frank and immediately head for the door. I don't want to chance being caught if they come out.
Mm-hmm. So you walk away from the door.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And end up where?
I'm just going to go out towards the door we were about to leave at first, the one where we noticed that the guards weren't here anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, towards it or the elevator, see if he has a thought on exactly which way we should go. I'll point at the elevator, then I point at the door, see if preference.
Yeah. Will Frank respond with a presence?
All right. So I mean, I had my stake in my back pocket, and I walked towards the door with the voices.
So you continue that route. You don't pick up on the escape plan or walking away.
No. I think even knowing that it's a bad idea, he's not in the Anarch fan club.
Mm-hmm. So
He just kind of like
he is
hovers
walking
there.
towards the door, yeah. What will Evelyn do?
She like kind of shuffles from side to side. She has like no idea if she needs to wait for this guy or if she needs to join him. She's I guess she's going to run over to the bar. He had gotten a steak from something. How exactly did you get that? What did you break it from?
The bar somewhere.
Is there like a wooden chair or something?
For sure.
I guess could I, as quietly as I can, tip it on its side and break off one of the legs of the chair?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess I'll do that, and then I'm not gonna go out right to where he is, but I will duck down behind the bar so that if shit does happen, I can at least help.
Mm-hmm. So for Frank, you are up close to the door. Do you wait or do you bust it open?
Which way is it? Double, single? Does it open in or out? From my point of view,
a double door goes in.
well, walk up to it and just.
Yeah, you don't get any response. It's eerily quiet.
Like pokes her head up over the bar. You just see like the bridge of her nose and her eyes. And she's like staring kind of wide-eyed at the hallway where he is.
I will activate heightened senses and just put my ear towards the door, and I will reach with my my hand into my back pocket and pull the improvised stake up into my sleeve.
Yeah, the same sort of thing there is that you don't hear anything. It's quiet.
Right. Open sesame.
And you feel the door handle and it comes open. And inside is a long table with several seats, like a conference. And the group of clan leaders sitting still, little bit hunched over the seating they are in. Juliana being the queen of the whole kindred group. She also sits there, and very quickly you see the sense of complete stillness.
Well, he knows what this looks like. If it is what it looks like, this is torpor.
Mm-hmm.
He dashes to Juliana and finds where it's stuck in the back of the chest and rips it out.
And for Evelyn, you see how Frank kind of rushes in and releases something, and Juliana kind of gasps for air.
Yeah, I guess I'll go darting in there as well once I realize what exactly is happened.
Yeah.
And if Duncan is in there and in a similar state, I'll yank whatever it is out of him as well.
Mm-hmm. So if you get this sort of staked or other sort of devices that could kind of put you in this sort of trance, like a state where you can't move, you haven't really been in it. And no one have told you if you actually hear people, but some have said that you're wide awake, but you're in this coma state, can't move. And Duncan as well kind of like opens his eyes and start to look around, seeing that you two, and in there is the other elders as well.
I'll go around and continue removing stakes or whatever the thing is.
It's the Bruag, the Gangrel, Duncan then, and Juliana. So 2 others beside the other 2. 4 in total. And Juliana looks at Frank very early on, and with a very kind of respectful and correctly addressed, she just says, "I thank you." And as she kind of looks around, Evelyn comes and helps Duncan out. And Duncan helps Gangrel first, Spencer. And the others comes to like the Bruja. The Bruja is a Thomas Cole. What do you want to say?
I was just gonna ask, do I know if they like keep bottles of like blood or something behind the bar? If so, I would go and snatch a couple of those up and bring them into the room for everybody.
No, not
They
necessarily.
need a pick me up.
There are just like a point or two worth in blood bags. They're good, but yeah, they are not that strong. And Juliana looks over to the both of you, like Frank and Evelyn, and she says that the man. Did you ever see who was in here?
We heard some voices. New one, not familiar. Surely someone here saw something. Came from in here, anyways.
And she gives like a gesture to the two of you to sit down. There is like several chairs in this like long table. And
I guess.
presume you
Sorry.
do. Yeah, I presume you do.
Yep.
For Frank.
Yeah, he will take a seat.
So we have a bigger problem than we expected. Julian says, and Duncan kind of straightens up a little bit and looks over to Juliana and says that you need to call off the whole blood hunt. This is not about her at all. Jocelyn is not the one. And Juliana just nods and says that make it so from all of you. And the Brua leader and the Ganger leader and Duncan for the Toreador starts to kind of walk out, and Juliana looks at the two of you, Frank and Evelyn, and says that you might be needing to hear this. So sit while I explain. And she kind of looks at the others leaving, and as they close the doors, she says that we have had troubles. There have been a rumor at first, but now he has made advances. I don't know how much you know about the history and the tales of old, but looking back at the late generations, not everybody squared with the Masquerade. There were others that wanted to be more outspoken, doing whatever they felt like. Where the Camarilla, the ones we are, we want to keep the Masquerade to secure our safety, making sure that no one knows who we are. Otherwise, we will be destroyed easily. Before, we didn't have this enlightened society. But now it would be a very quick demise if all the mortals would square up and hunt us. So therefore the Masquerade must be intact. However, a breakout group, several other clans have started long time ago a sect, a group that operates outside the Masquerade, taunting and trying to take over, destroy. And none of them are within our own organization. And we are always at war. And she looks at Frank. Maybe you know where I'm going with this.
I'm assuming you're referencing the wonderful, the also charming anarchs.
More, I'm referring to the Sabbath.
Oh, fun.
The person that leads them is a known pain to us. His name is Hayden at this time. He has had many names, but goes by the name Hayden Mills for now. A very dark clan that is not been accepted by us. A clan that have been strong in the Victorian age. A clan that goes by the name of Simelse. They are what we fear the most. However, we're not here to talk about politics. He's making a move here is a power play. It's a open invitation to just meet and see. And we need to respond. I am gonna ask for your help as you have been a part of this. I don't know if the other elders are gonna be helpful. I need people that haven't been fooled by him. So I need people I could trust.
Just gonna look behind me. Who exactly?
She gives off just a smirk. So, Evelyn and Frank, is this a time of joining up? Or are you gonna walk out the door?
Yes, I will join. I'll stay.
And Frank?
Well, I suppose my afternoon's clear, so I could have some fun.
This is where I want you to help. I will take the other elders and meet Hayden at his invitation. It's obviously a trap. I know the place he's referring to, a old, not built project site. There will be people amongst the rubble, the pillars, and what have you. But he's not expecting me to take anyone else but the elders. So, my suggestion is that you will position yourself and make yourself best suited from the back. He is not immensely difficult or old, but he is not to strive with. Maybe you will be able to, from afar, make enough to caught him off guard, or even better, put him to a long needed rest, such as what we have experienced.
I'm just gonna reach into my arm. Oh, this kind or the final kind.
Whatever feels good for you. And she opens one of the drawer and lets a firearm be put on the table. Normally, we laugh at the idea of bullets, but these ones have been tipped and prepped with very strong dragon fire. Will burn through even a kindred. Any of you can handle a firearm?
I'm more of a old school kind of guy.
So your stake will work perfectly in that case. Seeing that Evelyn doesn't really have any points in firearms, I guess she just shakes her head. You will be able to go now, find a good place. I and the rest will meet him up at 12. A very interesting time of choice. But he is all about the theatricals, for sure. And she stands up and I'll hope and see that we will reach something on the other side. And maybe I can help you to some advances within the ranks or knowledge. I will be on great I will be very grateful. I wanted to say something else, but sure. So 12 is the meetup. And she gives off like the hand of you can leave. Which I guess you both of you will do.
I will, for sure.
So, Frank, you have your car on the outside. Is that the way you want to go? Or do you want to leave the car?
I guess it would be easiest to take it.
And as you move out, Duncan says the meetup point, and he gives you an address. Far to the east, maybe a 15 minutes or drive at the most.
Thank you. I will hand the address over to Frank since he's our driver.
Mm-hmm. And you will walk out, and what kind of car do you have?
It is going to be a
Is it a Volkswagen Bug?
yeah, that's not gonna happen. No, it's gonna be a 67 fastback in blue metallic.
Fancy. I was hoping for a smart car. But a muscle car. And is it in a good condition, or is it more like it has seen better days?
I mean, it's parked by the ocean. It's indoors, but salt still gets to it, so it's like it has some beauty marks.
But is it so that you haven't really taken care of it at all and just runs it, or are you trying to take care of it?
Trying.
Do you have... How much do you have in drive?
2.
Okay. Which is perfectly fine. It's kind of like if you have 1 point in drive, it would be like you can drive automatic and not well, but you can drive on automatic. So parallel parking is like difficult. But with that too, you can do the basic stuff with cars. And you would be, if you needed to do something that is more advanced, maybe roll for it. But otherwise, it's like just normal. So yeah, Evelyn sees this older muscle car. It's seen better days, but it's not like ragged and falling apart. A hobby project in the making.
Nice.
So do you guys want to go back to any of your home havens, or do you want to go and stake out the place first, or just stake out the place and be there?
Is there like a dress code for this place?
For the place of Frank, or
For the meeting that we're...
you're basically going to be the cannon fodder in the back.
Okay, so it doesn't matter. Awesome. No. I don't think that I need anything then. I'll just take my little makeshift stake with me. So I'm fine going just about anywhere. I don't know if we even need to go to Juliana. Juliana's. No, wait. Jocelyn? Yeah. Do we even need to go to Jocelyn's place anymore? Or since the hunt's been called off for her, I guess we could just head out to the place?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you need to stop and get something?
No, I got everything I need.
So you guys will travel to the meetup point for at least the clan elders and this mysterious person. You're supposed to
Yes.
be the diversion or attack group from behind, unknown and just like a quick force. So going out there, it's the lower end part of the slum that were meant for buildings at one point, building it up, making it a step up and nice again, but never came about. So a lot of projects and a lot of buildings on the go, and far on its very end, a large complex that is just now a construction site, like a skeleton of a framework that would probably be a project house, like 10 to 15 floors high, and like, I don't know, 50 to 100 different apartments in one space, and more or so in one other. So this standing very alone at the time. You're there fairly early. They said 12. You can roll a perception alertness or click alertness. And this is more a normal 6.
Not very alert or perceptive, apparently.
Luckily, Frank is more the one with the alertive mindset. So seeing roughly where a confrontation would take place, you also see a fairly good place to hide for a while, which is backed up by containers and just old building equipment, or stuff that were once building equipments but now have been kind of stripped for copper or just anything that was worth taking, but still here, like old pallets. That is in the back end of it all. There would be also another place that would be more of a higher ground, like on another floor of the constructed house, but that wouldn't really serve you any sort of purpose. So probably more in the back of the sort of old materials, if that is of interest. Or what would be your idea? Do you have any other?
Look, what kind of sort of elevation would this place be? Is it like a skyscraper, or is it like a 2 stories above or something?
No, like I said, it's probably 10 to 15 floors high of a building, meant to be like a project's house at one time. Now it's just a skeleton of its idea. So you could
Do we
still
know-
reach all the floors if you wanted to. And close to it is the containers and old building materials on pallets of stuff. And in front and in the middle is like an open area where the meeting would probably take place.
I was just about to ask if we knew exactly where the meeting was taking place in the building. Yeah, I'll go for stealth. Which place would give us like the best vantage point?
Yeah, depending on if you want to be on the ground or if you wanted to be up in the house. The problem with up in the house is that you need to maybe go down when you seem it being a good idea. It might be showing yourself or making sounds that you don't really want to. But you could be on the ground with the sort of old materials, the pallets and containers. But then you might not see as well. So both have positives or negatives. Good and bad.
You think, Frank? I'm kind of leaning towards being up higher because I want to be able to see what's going on. But it sounds like being lower would be better for actually doing things. I think I'm gonna go up. Yeah, I'll be up. I will do my best. Is it like rafters or something that we would be hiding in up top?
If you want to, yeah, sure. And Frank is following along with that idea too.
Is this an area that would have homeless people?
Not at this point. It's known that people will disappear if they go here. Done by the kindred so they can have it for themselves. So it's a very excluded sort of place where no one really comes. Sure, they could, but likelihood is very low.
I was considering looking a little different and like sitting like covered with a trash bag. I mean, like a, I don't know, wearing like a hat covering my face or something, doing that kind of stunt, just blending in. But I think I will be down low instead and just stay in the shadows and we'll try and obfuscate.
Do Evelyn want to be up high?
Yes, I'm gonna go up high.
Mm-hmm.
Preferably in like the rafters or something in a shadowed area, so hopefully they won't be able to see me.
So roll a dex and stealth with like a 6 in difficulty. And you could add a bonus die.
So with so dexterity and what was it? Stealth?
Yeah, so click on stealth.
Okay. Dexterity and a bonus
Die.
Just one?
Yeah.
Then? Okay. And it's still on a 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really
definitely.
Yeah. So it's fairly easy for you to find a good place to hide, and you don't see anyone like obviously see you hiding. They have to really look for you in order to do so. So you're one level above, or do you want to be higher than that?
I'll just go one level above.
So like one story. So what would
Yes.
Frank do? You talked about obfuscate.
Yes, I will be using Cloak of Shadows and find a nice dark corner that has some view of the area, but not like behind a pillar, like behind a light pole right next to it, but like some garbage bags behind a dumpster, so I can sort of peek.
Yeah. Which you do find, making a very good concealment. Even for Evelyn, you saw that Frank were moving around, like finding places and stuff, and all of a sudden he just blended in with the shadows.
Ooh, interesting.
And for the first, let's say, hour, there is no movement, there is nothing happening, and nothing seems to be like changing up at all. But after a let's say short little moment after, an hour and a half or so, meaning that it's like closer to 10, a car comes up to this roundabout in the sand and parks more towards you because you're in the back, and one driver exit the vehicle. The windows are fairly have a taint on them, and it's a big SUV sort of vehicle. And the driver just goes out and closes his door in a fairly normal, not completely expensive suit or anything. And standing, like looking around, looking like a little bit towards your location, but not really paying too much attention. And then he leans towards the hood and just stands waiting. So this is at 10 p.m. Anything that you guys want to do at this point?
Is anybody else getting out of the car?
Not now, no.
Do we recognize this guy at all?
No.
Yeah, I guess I'll look over in the direction of Frank, see if I see any movement to get an idea of what he's going to do.
Is there anything that you want to do?
Nope, I'm going to remain completely still.
And another hour goes by where he has kind of shifted a little bit. He hasn't stood completely still, but he's been shifting about a little bit. The time is now reaching like 11 p.m. And that's when the back door goes open and a um, fairly slender, average height man steps out and could fairly easily see that there is no one else in the car as the door is swung open. He puts a small, almost like a satchel bag, like a messenger bag, um, hanging on the side mirror facing you guys. And then he closes the door. His facial structure is very slender and very sharp, like structure. Having these very small, rounded shades, and a almost gray towards white hair that is combed back but kind of starting to open up a little bit. And he has also like a normal suit on. And he says over to the person that has been like the driver. He says that tonight will be the breaking of several. Another challenge, another duel. And he walks around the car, kind of standing at the trunk back to it with his back towards you guys. And Evelyn recognized the voice and this sort of mannerism. This is slightly after 11 p.m. Do you guys do anything from here or do you wait still?
I think I'm going to wait a little bit more. Hopefully he'll get distracted by the people who come to the meeting.
Mhm.
So
In an hour
yeah,
ish.
so I'm gonna try and wait.
Right, yeah.
And unless Frank makes a move, then I guess I'll make a move as well. But otherwise, I'm just gonna wait.
Mm-hmm. And for Frank, will you wait for the others to come?
Well, the instructions were pretty specific. 12, and it's not 12 yet.
Yeah. And amongst them, they don't really say much. They basically stand and wait. He looks mostly towards the drive in down into this roundabout or like rounded square part. So he's waiting. And at the time when it's getting to 12, like very on a dot, there are 3 cars coming in, and they are driving fairly slowly towards your place. Anything that you want to do at this point, or do you want to wait until they get out of the cars? I just want to make sure so it doesn't get to the point where you're like, I wanted to do something before this happened. So the choice is yours. Do you want to do something now or do you want to wait still? It's a wait still then.
Yeah.
I'm waiting.
Yeah, I guess I'll still wait as well.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
The cars goes in and kind of parks as an open arc, where the open arc is towards you, and the car with this guy Hayden is more towards you as well, but on a flat to you. And the clan leaders, the elders, they starting to kind of pop out of the cars. And the person that was called Hayden, he starts to talk as Juliana steps out. He says that I would be surprised if you are the only ones here. So, for whomever can hear me, I would say that listen very carefully. If you step down, you can follow the future. I will let you be the new blood of the city. And Juliana makes no apparent reaction to it, or she doesn't like look around for you guys either. And she basically like wait for the other elders to come around, and she says to him that you have caught us with this sort of charade that you're doing. And for whatever reason, it's fairly easy to say it is now over. We are not fooled by your words or challenges. As the time is over. We are here and we will end it as well. And it's about that time, Frank, you see that a part of Shadow, very similar to what you have been doing yourself with Obfuscate, maybe it's even Obfuscate, but at a higher level, maybe. A part of the shadow that is being cast from their vehicle kind of extends and move like its own motion, the shadow on the ground. And the shadow is like circling around towards Juliana, but like in a far like arc around everything. Anything you want to do at this point?
What time is it?
It's past 12 now. They arrived at the time. Like on the dot.
He doesn't really know what it is, but the target isn't Hayden. But he's the only one here except the elders and whatever this shadow is. So he has an inner monologue with, a few of the voices inside his head. They live rent-free, by the way. He decides that he's gonna beeline for this shadow, and he's going to treat it as it's a person. So he's going to attempt to just grab it and throw it into the lights.
Right. Do you want to make haste, or do you want to make it stealthy?
He is very fast, so he's going to go speed.
Do you want to use any blood points for more dexterity, or?
I mean, could I put it to a 5 then?
Yes. You need to be generation 9 when you can go above 5, but you could always go to 5.
Okay, yeah, I will use a one of my points in my blood pool. Is it just Dex then?
I would say that it's Dex Athletics. That's the only one I can kind of go to. So either Dex Athletics or Dex Stealth.
No, he's not being stealthy about it, so we're gonna go athletics.
Mm-hmm.
And put a 1 in the bonus then?
Yeah. Or how much you put in it. Oh, yeah. So for Evelyn, you see from where Frank were, like in a shadowy part of the construction site, he just like runs out of the shadows. The shadows just release him, more or less. And he starts to run around the car that is closest to you and just beelines it to the side for whatever reason. And in your mind, you were like, it was Hayden all along, wasn't it? So you are maybe confused, maybe not. What will you do?
I'm not gonna exit stealth, but I am going to try and get as close to being near Hayden as I can.
All right. You can roll dexterity and stealth then. Let's see.
Do I get any kind of bonus, or is it still just a 0?
You can do a difficulty of 5 instead.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Yeah.
So you make your way down, and Hayden kind of gets thrown off a little bit. Someone just darts from nowhere and looks to the like right side, and Juliana then draws this gun, and the others are as well drawing guns, and Hayden kind of looks surprised and kind of confused a little bit, and looks at this satchel bag that he has slung over the side mirror of his car. So you, Frank, do you want to wrestle with it? Do you want to attack this thing that you suspect of being a hidden person? What do you want to do with it? Do you want to brawl it down with like a string, or do you want to?
He doesn't know what it is, but the intention was full speed. Try and treat it as if it was an individual, and throw it into the lights.
So you could use strength or dexterity with like athletics or brawl. It's not really a brawl, but it's not really athletics. It's something in between. So choose one that you feel is your more prominent thing.
Oh yeah, this is an easy choice.
Yeah, that's rough. And then we will say that if we go, oh nice.
He's very good at a few things.
That's one of them. Where are we with this? We will try to. Yeah, it's not happening. So you grab something like you're on the money that it's someone, and you throw it into the middle of the street or middle on the roundabout where all the lights are. And with you doing that sort of action, it kind of breaks its action, and you see a person with sort of like a very I would say like simpler clothes, but fairly sneaky-esque style of like easier runner shoes and nicer, like almost a jogging outfit, but in the hands are shorter swords, very slim, and he kind of flies out into the middle and gets really stunned by it. And Evelyn, you get closer to Hayden, and the other ones with a flurry of shots are shooting at the car almost, because he's taking the car as like a shield. Do you, Evelyn, want to do something from this point? Being close to Hayden?
You had said that he looked confused at whatever it was that was thrown out.
Yeah, he didn't really see Frank doing what he did. So you get like startled almost. More than confused, maybe. So he is now hunkered down in the or behind the car, because the other ones are trying to shoot at him. And imagine when they are shooting, it's not just normal bullets coming out. It's I'm not sure if you've seen Dragonfire before.
No.
Have you, Redix?
Oh yeah.
So Dragonfire in a gun, you can have it like in shotgun isn't like the normal one, but you can also have it in other guns. It's basically like a flame that goes out when on impact, and when you actually shoot, you get like this sparkled effect. It's a sort of incendiary round.
I see.
So it's very much intended to impact the kindred and then like catch a little bit of fire, making it viable to actually take damage. So there is like difficult to kind of look and see because they are shooting, and there is like the very extensive flames that kind of sends sparkles everywhere. So he's hunkered down and he's grabbing his little satchel bag. Anything you want to do there?
Yeah, I'm gonna try my best to creep up right behind him with my little makeshift stake.
Mhm.
I will and then I'm just she says, I gotta say I'm disappointed that there's no bathrobe this time, and then she tries and shove the stake through his back.
Do a melee attack. Do you have melee?
Yes.
How nice. With dexterity.
Okay. Dexterity and bonus or difficulty.
Just straight up and a 6.
Okay.
Yeah. And what is your strength too?
Yes.
And with it, you send him into like a stale state of torpor where he kind of just falls over. And the whole scene will be of you guys capturing in the driver and this other assassin character, making it so that the whole elder and the whole clan structure is still intact. The continuation of the group of you two are still intact. And there will most probably future wise be a boon for you where you are able to get more recognition or something. So this is a good sort of one shot, just trying out, sensing how the whole system works and how the political scene could work together. It doesn't really translate into shorter stories, as most of these games are very long and slow paced, almost like a detective work, and you have to find what is going on or kind of chase stuff down. So I wanted to do something where you're seeing the structure, being a part of the structure, and also having time to kind of roll the dice and see what happens. So did you fare the game being a-okay at least?
So I thought it was fun.
Mm-hmm. And really,
Always, awkward when you're trying to figure out how to team up, but it was fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, basically just go with the flow and jump on the train. So how did you see it, Redix?
It kind of played out the way I expected it. Then I have to say that I think I'm a little bit of a seer. I like okay, this is probably gonna be, and then So I figured you were gonna try just to like a one session thing at least starting out. And I got to play one of my character's few strengths.
Yeah. I mean, it's really difficult to kind of like portray someone or portray anything really when it's just a few hours. But it's also a time when you can just wackily let go a little bit and see what happens and kind of think about the character and just see if it's a part of what you were thinking when starting it out. And yeah, the main idea was to kind of showcase different clans and how they operate, and that there is a constant struggle to just be a part of the system. There is never really like a calm, quiet time. There's always something happening.
Yeah.
There could be like the hunters trying to hunt you down, being chased by hunters. There could be like the strongest hate for werewolves. So maybe hunting down werewolves or like finding a sect of wolves. But also this part when they are struggling in between them, like this character, if it's true that he was Sabbath, you don't even know. But it sounds about right. The whole conflict of different groups fighting amongst themselves as well. There isn't so much struggle between the layers of the clans because then everything kind of falls apart. So they try to stick together as much as they can. But for sure, there are like difficulties and how much like they are different creates this impossible moments, but still they're trying to just keep the masquerade going, keep focus on what they need to do. And then you have a lot of different personalities, and everyone is very interesting and special. So I like the whole system as a general idea. It's a little bit flimsical to just have a lot of dice and throw it out, and hopefully you reach the sort of level of threshold that you need to do, the difficulty level.
I thought it was definitely kind of different. I did think it was neat how you could combine them. So, like, you could have, you know, your dexterity in athletics or your dexterity in melee. I thought that was an interesting idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought that part was really cool.
So we will end us off here and catch ourselves the next time we will jump back in. And thank you, Love and Sprocket, to stop by, and hopefully you had a good time just listening in. And have a good one. Bye, boys.